So a lot of people want to know how bad it's gotten in Denver, Colorado. Come take a walk with me and I'll show you. This is about the funniest shit I ever saw. And I still can't believe it. I'm in awe, so I'm making a video about it. But this is how bad it has gotten in Denver, Colorado, to the point where they have to lock up, drum roll please, your laundry detergent. So it used to be the value of the price, and that's why they locked up high value prices. But $3.47, $6.49. They now have to lock up the laundry detergent. That's how bad of a theft problem it became. Welcome to America, where they lock up the laundry detergent. It's fucking funny. I'm sorry I had to come back and make a video about that. That shit.
Welcome to California, or California, and this is what you can expect to see across America. They already have been doing it in New York. Obviously, if you drive up and down California, you go to Oakland, you go to Sacramento, Los Angeles, ditto, San Francisco, that's obvious. This has already been happening. How do I know this? Because not only did I visit California, not only did I walk down the streets of California and in different places, and then when I would go into the stores, I would be like, wait a minute, what's going on? So I got to call somebody, and they're already overwhelmed because California is overpopulated and they got a huge migrant crisis over there. But they got a migrant crisis over in Denver too. So let me break it down for you. California already had a problem with illegal migrants being inside of the country in the first place because Gavin Newsom and the legislators and the people don't actually support being tough on immigration in the first place. And I'm going to break it down for you all the way. But then on top of that, they also incentivized not only illegal people, but also criminals because they were very lax on crime, which is why you now start to have Proposition 36. Now, Proposition 36 is legislation that looks to roll back Proposition 47, I believe. Is it 47? I don't know. But anyways, the whole point is that the people have realized that they've opened themselves up and they voted for the wrong people inside of office. And even though they know that they can't change that because it's the ignorant people that's going to keep them inside of office because we are a popularity contest instead of a policy contest, what happens is Gavin Newsom and Democrats are fighting against landmark legislation in order to make sure that they get tougher on crime. So one of the things that they did is if you steal anything under $950, it's basically like not doing nothing. They made cash bail easy so people can just get out. Some of the criminals is doing some of the worst things against people. And so when you combine those two, you combine illegal migrants being in here, and then you also throw on top of that the fact that they are not tough on crime, which basically renders the police officers helpless because everything is interconnected. And the police officers, not only are they losing money because they don't have the budget because the people started to run away from California because the weather wasn't enough. The people now are revolting because they're saying we don't even have the sufficient staff to police what's going on inside of these places, inside of our cities, like what's going on in Oakland, the teams left and everything like that. And so the criminals is basically running the asylum. Homelessness is running rampant out of control, and the people are prisoners in their own home. And so you started to see this because people would just feel comfortable walking in and stealing. So they put the onus on the business instead of having the business that pays the majority of the taxes and basically is funding what goes on in these legislative branches along with the taxes on the people. You basically had a city and a state that is running out of control, and now most of these cities is operating at a deficit. And ironically, there are places that are conservative and vote red inside of California, but the majority of it, the urban community, the urban centers vote blue, and they control what happens in the legislative body. Fast forward to over here in Denver, where you're seeing the exact same thing because the blueprint for how this country is going to go is based off of what's going on in California. So when everybody ran away from California and they ran to other places, including Texas, you now see Texas turning into California, such as Austin. We call that California Light. And I was talking to my homegirl this weekend at Afrofest in Detroit, and she was saying that she stays in Austin and she's been there for 17 years because I actually graduated high school with her, and she was just telling me how bad it had gotten and how she hates being there, right? But then let's combine that with the fact that you have Denver. They had became a sanctuary city right along with Houston and Chicago and New York and Los Angeles and all of these other places that basically said, we want migrants to come in here. And they were petitioning Biden to continue to support them financially. And now you see these cities operating at a deficit. But at the same time, migrants in Denver, Mayor Mike Johnson, who had just got elected, signed that same letter along with all of the rest of them in order to continue to advocate for more funding from the Biden administration, which also included Harris as far as what was going on. And so now you see Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings, and theft is out of control. And the residents are suffering for it. And the businesses are actually suffering for it. And they're trying to solve for housing. And they're giving these migrants all of these things. And they've been paying for them to live in these places. And I don't know whose bright idea it was to take taxpayer money and give it over to migrants that allowed for them to basically set up shop. And now they running rampant and running roughshod over in Denver and all of these other places. Chicago got the Democratic National Convention today. They say Biden is scheduled to speak tonight. I am definitely going to be covering that on the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to see if I can cover it on his channel live prior to us going live on the Q show tonight. So make sure y'all tap into that. And I always like to give credit to the content creator. So I'm definitely going to be linking back to this man in the description of the video. But then on top of that, what you're basically seeing is California and New York and a lax laws, California more than anything, and a lax laws because it's a lot of businesses, Targets and stuff like that. CVS's was closing. Walgreens is basically out of business. Most of these places are running away from these liberal hellholes. And so you see these economic policies that are based off of the same thing that we see happening in California, which largely support the Biden-Harris administration that's currently in place. And people are living in hell, but then they still voting for blue on the same way. And for some reason, y'all think that y'all gonna get different results. No, now they gotta lock up. They have to lock up laundry detergent. Because it's not even about the price. It's about the things that people are, they still in the high price items also, but they also still in the things and they realizing they don't have to pay for it because the police ain't gonna do nothing. The police didn't do anything when it came to housing or them taking over these apartment complexes, because why should they when they already know that they don't have the same support in the legislative branches to keep these people locked up? And more importantly, they never should have been here in the first place. They never should have been here in the first place. And this is the thing that we're dealing with. This is the problem that we got going on in America. We have given over into the worst of us. And then the most ignorant amongst us are the ones that's ultimately keeping these people in power. And when you ask them, well, hey, why are you voting for this person? They're going to say, well, I'm voting for him based off of identity politics, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to see somebody that look like me inside of there. Now, I want somebody that's going to do the job and make sure that these people are locked up and prevent them from continuing to do the worst thing to society. And that's what I would be advocating for. And that's what I am advocating for. And so my job is to make sure that you guys stay informed. And then I'm going to make sure that I highlight the videos that you guys send me. Obviously, give credit to the content creators so y'all can see what's really happening on the ground, because I believe that these politicians are so out of touch, and people are so out of touch with what's happening in society that they've basically given over to one of the worst things that's happening to us, and it's going to get worse before it get better. And again, I was telling people that I almost don't even want Trump to win, because I don't want him to have to clean up the mess of the people that left before him. But then at the same time, I think that people need to learn a lesson. It's similar to, like I said, to what's happening over in Chicago and all of the cities in Illinois. You should get what you vote for instead of having somebody come in and fix your issues. But neither here nor there. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Again, link is in the description. We got Stock Club coming up this week. And then we got Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. The Q show is tonight. Millionaire Morning Show is in the morning. We rocking out and we going to get to it. Make sure y'all stay alert. Make sure y'all stay aware of what's going on, man.